in theatrical circles now, and I did another show after that, and I met a cat who was kind of a ringer, put in the band by the producer of the show. His name was Howard Shore. Now, an Oscar, multi-Oscar winning film composer. Having done, you know, the Hobbits movies and all of this, I wish I could tell his credits, but nonetheless. So we worked together, we hit it off in this show, in my last show in Canada before leaving, and when he came a year later to put together a band for Lorne and SNL, I was already in town. I was playing in the Magic Show. He called me up and he said, "You'd be perfect for this because you already know people like Gilda
Radner
and Dan Aykroyd from Canada. They had been around our scene. Gilda had been in that show Godspell. And I had met John Belushi before the show started. I worked a little bit in '74 while doing the Magic Show. Started working a little bit for the National Lampoon magazine. Bill Murray had an older brother, I should say, Brian Doyle Murray.
Right.
He was in Canada teaching them how to do a Second City nightclub type of act. He was from Chicago. He and I hit it off. I hung out incessantly at Second City when they opened a club there because I just loved these funny people. So Howard said, "Come aboard, you know, you have something in common with the comedians already, a lot of them," and it was true. And there I was in the house band of SNL under Howard's able baton. But I really wanted to get into a sketch or two, and I managed to do it. It's another whole story.
Belushi led the Blues Brothers, enormously successful. And they made a movie, which was also very successful. I would have thought you'd been in the movie. What happened?
Well, only the worst thing that ever happened to me in show business, a scheduling conflict is what it comes down to. But I was working on Gilda Radner's music and album, which eventually became her one-woman show on Broadway, which I appeared in. And Belushi said, "Don't do it because we're going to start our movie. We need you in top form." And I said, "I have to do it. This is Gilda. We started together in Godspell 1972, and I did it anyway, and didn't get it done in time. Number of problems along the way, and I had to pull out of that movie after I had put the band together in '78. You know, musician, but hand-picking with Belushi each of the musicians, sort of like they made the movie, but the story about them getting the band back together. Well, we got it together, one musician at a time, and then I had, "John, I'm sorry. I have to stay with Gilda."
And how did he take that?
Well, I was replaced like that. I was already replaced by 3 different guys, a guy to play the piano, a guy to do the arranging, and a guy to play the little part. You know, I would have actually acted in it. So I was devastated, and Belushi, I don't know, there was no Twitter or anything at that time, but somehow a statement was released among our SNL crowd. Shaffer is out. He's not a blues brother. He will never be a blues, and it was just devastating. Anyway, Aykroyd engineered what do they call it, like when Dean and Jerry?
Reconciliation.
A reconciliation, yes. I like to think of myself as the Jerry and Belushi as the Dean. No, not at all, of course. But Aykroyd ran into me they were still making the movie. I was in California. He said, "Duck," the late, great Duck Dunn, bass player from Memphis, who was in our Blues Brothers band, "Duck's having a barbecue. Sunday, please come, and then Belushi will be there." And that information hit me, and what turned out was this remarkably sweet reunion between the two of us where we made up, and they did all the numbers from the movie for me with the choreography. I was sort of bittersweet, like the proud papa watching it, but, you know, of course, dying inside. I should have been doing it. Nonetheless, I was in Gilda's movie, and it all worked out in the end. And I rejoined the Blues Brothers for the big tour in 1980.
Right. We talked about you not being in the Blues Brothers movie, things that didn't happen. So many things have happened. But you missed out on Seinfeld.
Well, this is something, and it's an area of, you know, who knows? People's memories get foggy. But a phone message came in to the office, and it said, Jerry Seinfeld is getting a show, and he wants you to be his sidekick. The story has been embellished, you know, that he wants me to be a particular character. But at this point, it was just, he wants you to be a sidekick. It didn't even seem to need me to audition or read for it. But I didn't, I was so overworked and overstressed, and I just said, you know, and it came from Castle Rock Entertainment. And I said to myself, I'm supposed to know, who the hell is that, Castle Rock? Well, of course, that was Rob Reiner's company that made Spinal Tap, the movie that I was in and had a bit part. I like to call it a cameo. I couldn't remember Castle Rock, and I said, oh, Seinfeld, he's going nowhere. And I don't even think I called back. And I know I didn't call back. I'm embarrassed to say it. So I missed out on, yes, the most beloved sitcom, you know, since I Love Lucy, and including, some say.
Well, I know you've done well enough where we're not going to have to hold any benefits for you, but it'd be nice to be getting those mail checks.
Some of those resids, yeah.